What's up, you fucking Marks and Marquettes? It's James. Todd. Fuck Todd.
Fuck you.
That's what George Carlin said. He said, fuck Todd.
Welcome back to the Strong Style Podcast.
Yup.
Where we talk about wrestling. Yep, and today we're going to be talking about the purchase. WCW. Then we'll talk about that other bullshit that's currently, but we're going to talk about the AOL Time Warner sale to WWE that happened in 2001.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about the Alliance and how it
flopped,
sucked ass.
That's because everybody that was
we will get into that.
Eat my ass. Fuck it.
You want to give away the whole goddamn show in like 3 minutes.
Spoiler, everybody dies.
Everybody gets a car. But yeah, those of you who followed wrestling during that time that, you know, was alive and witnessed that era, our age group, I'd say, maybe 28, 29 to 34, 35.
Nowadays? Yeah.
And, in case you guys didn't know, AOL Time Warner owned WCW, World Championship Wrestling, and in 2001, they sold the trademarks, the WCW name, and the logo to Vince McMahon for $2.5 million, and they sold the entire videotape library for $1.7 million, bringing the total to $4.2 million that Vince McMahon bought WCW, and it was a company at one time that was once valued at $3 billion.
Really? I mean, I knew the sale was dirt cheap, but goddamn.
Yeah. And
I mean, Chris Jericho said he wanted to buy it, and he had the money.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, you know, Eric Bischoff probably would have bought it himself as well.
I thought he did want to buy it, but like...
Well, he had an investment company that was going to go into it with him.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is no company, no investors was going to go in it with anybody if they did not have a TV spot.
That's right.
And Time Warner, LOL, owned TNT,
AOL.
TBS. What?
AOL.
What did I say?
LOL.
Well, it's a product of the goddamn times we're living in, I guess. I don't even think AOL's around anymore. Ain't that's that dial-up internet shit, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't even think AOL is a thing anymore.
Yeah, but wrestling, even though the last 2 years of WCW was really horrible, like as an on-screen product, it was still the number one show on TNT. So, even though it sucked, it was bringing in numbers, kind of how wrestling is now. It sucks, but it kind of brings in numbers a little bit, I guess. Not as much as back in our day, but
yeah,
enough to where people won't yank it off the fucking air, I guess. But yeah, they sold that bad boy for fucking $4.2 million, and basically, long story short, Vince McMahon bought it, and at the time, all the top WCW stars, and I'm talking guys like Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan,
Lex Luger,
Ric Flair. Well, they never was going to bring Luger aboard anyway, but the big guys, Scott Steiner, the guys,
Macho.
yeah, those guys had a choice. Either they could take a pay cut, come work on WWE television, and continue to be showcased, or they could sit their asses at home and collect their guaranteed money. And only two old school WCW guys took that offer, and that was Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, that ended very well.
And the rest of them stayed at home. So what you have is the you have the land of the fucking misfit toys coming over. You have your
Sean Stasiak,
Sean O'Hare, your fucking, guys that are decent, but nowhere near the word star. Like,
No.
we can all appreciate Hugh Morris. He wasn't a superstar. And that's just a fact. But, yeah. And, it was a big deal at the time because I don't think anybody at home knew that guys like Goldberg and Hogan and all those, they didn't know about their contract status. So they were kind of tuning in, seeing what was going to happen. Oh, they bought WCW. When they going to bring this guy in, that guy in, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it was always that hope of, who are they going to bring in next? Who's going, going to be showcased?
They were
and
hoping
whatever.
for the dream matches. Goldberg versus Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Sting versus Undertaker.
That was never a dream match of mine, by the way. I never once thought those two guys.
Well, maybe not you, but some other people did.
WWE put that in people's heads.
I mean, probably.
I think
Maybe.
so.
I don't know.
think so.
I never really was like, oh, I want to see, Sting versus Taker.
It's just a little personal thing. Like I never considered oh, Sting is the Undertaker of WCW and Undertaker's Sting of WWF. I guess the only thing that you can draw parallels to them is they both had a spooky gimmick and they both was loyal to their respected companies.
Finkel's Einhorn. Einhorn's Finkel.
And you're a dumbass.
Einhorn's a man.
Nicole Bass was a man.
She looked like a fucking man.
She was a cross-eyed, ugly man woman.
She had a long vagina.
Why are we talking about Nicole Bass?
I don't know. You brought her up. I'm just piggybacking.
Anyway, yeah.
People were tuning in hoping to see these big names. And what did we get?
Yeah.
We got, B-rated players.
And at the same time, ECW went out of business. And, Vince bought their library as well. I don't have the details on that. We'll do a whole episode on that, I guess. The dying days of ECW, I reckon. But they decided that they didn't have a big enough roster for WCW to sniff the jockstrap of the stars of WWE.
Yeah.
So they added in the ECW, which they still didn't have any, which is why you had WWF turncoats, and the big one being Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Which they had already made a mistake at that year's WrestleMania by having Steve Austin. Steve Austin turning heel wasn't the problem. Steve Austin sharing a beer with Vince McMahon was the fucking problem. Nobody wanted to see it. Nobody wanted to see it. And it was fucking bad business. And the fact that The Rock, which would become your big baby face, he didn't stick around long. He's going off to Hollywood. He's going off to Hollywood with this. So you have no big baby face. And your big baby face that you were going to have is off to Hollywood. And your biggest drawer of all time, you just unfucked what you fucked for the last 3 or 4 years right there. 97, 98, 99, 2000, and this happened in 2001. So everything that you've been building up for the past 4 years about why we love Steve Austin, I guess they were thinking, well, if this is the ultimate portrayal, this is the ultimate heel turn. But what they don't get is, like, nobody wanted to see that, even in a storyline wise.
No.
Like, we didn't want to see that. Like, if Austin was going to be a heel, let him be a heel. Why does he have to be with Vince McMahon? It's like, there was a time period, like from 98, 99, 2000, 2001, that time period, like, for whatever reason, if you were going to be the top heel in the business, you had to be associated with Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock went through it. Triple H went through it.
Yeah, the whole corporation gimmick.
And, you know, Austin didn't need that.
No.
And, you know, so the alliance happened. Now, at the time, I'm okay, I guess, with all this because I'm still a loyal wrestling fan. And what else am I going to watch?
Yeah, they don't have no alternatives.
Yeah, they just bought the other two goddamn companies. TNA wasn't a thing at that time.
No.
Ring of Honor wasn't a thing at the time. Internet wasn't the thing that it is now, so it's not like, oh, well, let me get on the internet and watch New Japan.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you didn't have any of that, so you either watched what they gave you or you didn't watch anything at all. And I'm not saying that everything during this time period sucked. I'm just saying who they had and who they could have had and what they did sucked.
They had a shit sandwich, and they tried to sell people a shit sandwich, but, you know, they tried to put, you know, fancy it up, and nobody was buying it.
Yeah. And some of the noteworthy things is when he first bought WCW, he was actually going to keep it a separate entity.
He should have.
He was going to, rumor has it was that SmackDown was going to become the #1 show, and that was going to be featured WWE guys, and Raw would have the WCW guys. And they main evented with Buff Bagwell and Booker T, and apparently Vince McMahon thought the match was so horrible that he scrapped that entire idea, which was fucking stupid. I've watched that match. Is it good? Not really. Is it bad? I've seen worse matches on Raw.
Yeah.
With his own goddamn talent.
Yeah. I think he was just so harsh and critical towards WCW talent.
Well, not only that,
he was probably looking for an excuse or a reason to shit can him.
Yeah, because the very next week, Raw was in Atlanta, Georgia. Why wouldn't you wait to put that match on in Atlanta, Georgia, WCW's home?
Right.
No, you decided to do it a week early. I don't know where it was at, but it was a WWF primarily, you know, territory that they had been doing years and years. And Vince had been programming his audience to think and believe that everything that WCW done was fucking corny and stupid and everything else. And he was the only good wrestling in town. So they come out, they didn't have a chance. They shit on that match before it got started. Okay? They shit on that goddamn match before they got started. And that's the bottom line, to steal Steve Austin's catchphrase. And that's when this whole alliance shit got started. That's when they decided, yeah.
That's how I feel about the alliance.
Well, thank you. I think we can end the fucking podcast now.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, the alliance was pretty much dog shit from the beginning. I mean, it was no saving it at all.
They treated people that should have been, you know, like nobody in ECW got treated correctly except for Rob Van Dam, and that's because the fans reacted to him. The fans reacted to him, and they couldn't hide that. Like, he was by far the most popular member of the alliance.
Oh, yeah.
But guys that made ECW a big deal, guys like Taz, Raven, people like that, they benefited nothing from being in this.
Yeah, wasn't Rhino in the Alliance?
Yeah, they did a little, like, they did something with Rhino, but Rhino was already in the WWF system. They did something with the Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys had been there for fucking 3 years at that point.
Yeah.
And Rob Van Dam. Like, can you name another guy from ECW that they pushed pretty strong? No. Everybody else was jobbers to the WWF stars. And as far as WCW goes, they had Booker T. And that's it. Because they quickly shit on Diamond Dallas Page. Yeah, and that was the Undertaker's fault. I got a lot of respect for the Undertaker, but fuck him for what he did to Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, he fucked him over hardcore for no fucking reason at all.
No reason. I mean, here you got a guy, just because he has been your primary competition, he is not like he's coming in as a goddamn rookie. Like, if he's giving you ideas and he's coming up and he's trying to contribute, that's not him trying to take your spot. That's not him trying to show you up. That's not him trying to tell you that his shit is better. That's him trying to get over a goddamn storyline. That's, how do you think he learned? Like, are you better than Randy Savage? Because that's what Randy Savage did for Diamond Dallas Page. Like, don't hand me this shit about, well, this is my yard and nobody's going to tell me how to run this. You're in the business of selling fucking tickets. Okay? You might be a real-life badass, but this is fake fucking wrestling. You don't sell the fact that you're a real-life bad motherfucker. You sell storylines. That's what you do. And you shit on the guy that you could have made a lot of money with. So fuck you for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I knew it was dog shit as I was watching it, too.
Yeah, and so who else? Who else was left? Booker T.
Yeah, they fucked him up, too.
Yeah, they fucked him over as well at the beginning. A lot of people say, well, you know, Vince likes to test you and see if you're going to go along with his bullshit ideas. And unfortunately, Booker's always been a company man.
Yeah.
So, you know, he goes in there and, you know, there's no shame to lose to The Rock. That's fine. You know, but, you know, if The Rock is beating Booker T and Shane McMahon at the same time, or Booker T comes into that year's Royal Rumble last 3 fucking seconds, does a spin-a-Rudy, gets a stunner, and gets thrown out. That's it. That's all he did that year.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
You know, here you have WCW, you're using their championships. I mean, you bought the fucking championships, you bought the logo, you bought everything. Why, you know, you might as well use it, right?
Right.
Well, here you have Booker T and everything else, and your fucking WCW championship match is goddamn The Rock and Chris Jericho, 2 guys that you've had in the company for fucking years. Like, what? That's not what we wanted to see. That's not, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many ideas that could have accumulated, and it all comes down to the talent didn't come over. And you know what? Good for that talent. I'm glad that they stayed home and they got money. Because think of everybody that they brought in, you know. Kevin Nash, he didn't have a great WWE return. Ric Flair had a decent, you know. Hogan had a decent for a while. Sting waited goddamn 18 fucking years to go.
Yeah.
And who else? Goldberg, you know, Goldberg.
Yeah. Goldberg had run.
He had an okay run, but he was sick of the goddamn place after a year and left.
Yeah.
Who else? They didn't.
Hall.
Yeah, Hall lasted for a couple months.
Yeah, had a good match with Stone Cold.
Yeah, I mean, But, they didn't even pick up Luger. They didn't pick up, they fired Bagwell after one fucking day, which is stupid because...
Savage said fuck him, period.
Yeah, Savage said fuck him. I don't think Vince was going to hire him back anyway. I think Vince was mad at Luger for walking out on him in 95. Yeah. And he was mad at Savage for walking out on him in 94 and more importantly, taking the Slim Jim deal from WWF to WCW.
Right.
So Vince McMahon is a petty.
Would have owned, but
yeah, I mean Vince McMahon is a petty fuck. WWE will try to rewrite history all they want to and tell you he's a genius and he's all that. No, he's not. He has people that has good ideas, and he
was smart enough to put people that were geniuses around him.
Right, like
Pat Patterson.
Pat Patterson is probably the main person that is the reason why, you have WrestleMania. He's the reason why you have the Royal Rumble. He's the reason why you have Survivor Series. He came up with all that shit.
Yeah.
And he's the reason why you had the first Iron Man match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. If it was Vince McMahon, he probably would have put fucking Diesel and Mabel in a fucking Iron Man match for a fucking hour.
Yeah.
Goddamn goofball.
God, that would have been terrible. That's some good shit, pal.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
Everything that Vince McMahon has ever done right, it's either been somebody else's idea or he's been forced to do it. Make no mistake about it, Vince McMahon did not have this Attitude Era in his mind. The Attitude Era came about because he was fucking losing the WCW. That's how it came about. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to change. He didn't think anything was wrong with his fucking Rockabilly versus the Roadie in the opening match.
Yeah.
He didn't think there was anything wrong with fucking, Rocky Maivia and fucking Savio Vega. He didn't think there was anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then, he was forced to do all that, so...
The Ringmaster's a great idea, pal.
Well, my fucking point is that by 2001, he had no competition, therefore he had no reason to take risk, and he didn't. The only risk that he done was he took his company fucking public. That was it.
Which was a fucking mistake.
Which was a mistake because years later, you saw what you got during the PG era. Well, there was some good stuff. Suck my dick. Suck it.
No.
Suck it. No. The John Cena era was not good. I don't give a fuck how many charities. You know why he does charities, you idiot? Because they tell him to.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, if you feature your goddamn champion on television and little kids think it's real and little kids are the one making a wish, who the fuck are they going to ask to see? Waylon Mercy?
Nails. I want to see
idiots.
Nails.
Oh, he grants this. Oh, grants my dick in your mouth.
Yeah, the PG era definitely sucked, and it was due to the fact of
and the reason
competition.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking about this is because this fucking sale led to this awful PG era. This fucking sale from WCW led to WCW, led to WWE, WWF at the time, losing its fucking balls. It went from being fucking straight fire and cool to being fucking embarrassing. And the numbers will tell you, people will tell you, like, WWE today is as big as it ever was, and this and that. Bullshit. Bullshit. Just because you have different ways to make money doesn't make you better. Okay? The fact is, you started off as a television product, and if you look at your television product now, it's fucking poor ratings.
Well, to piggyback off of what you said, back then, they were making their money off of their tickets, their pay-per-view sales, and merchandise alone. Now, they had their television deal, but, That's the thing that when you have a wrestling company, that's where your profits come from.
Right.
That doesn't exist now. They have deals that's bought in, like a Mountain Dew deal and a sponsorship, and then they got all this fucking blood money from overseas to have pay-per-views over there. Yep. So it's not that it's popular and making money. They're just whoring WWE out to make up for the lack thereof that they can't get money like they used to.
Yeah, and you know, they try so hard to be mainstream now, and they don't even realize that when they had 30-year-old dudes pointing to their crotches and telling people to suck it, they were more mainstream than any fucking kid-friendly era. That, I mean, maybe not the golden era, but this last PG era. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that you can tell me that Cena and Batista or Randy, or even Randy Orton, and I like Randy, and I like Batista, and Cena's to a certain point, but they fucking fail in comparison to the generation that came before them. The Steve Austin, the Rocks, Mick Foley, they're
Undertaker.
Who can take
Shawn
Mick Foley's spot? Who was the Mick Foley after Mick Foley retired? Nobody. Who was the Undertaker?
It's only one.
I shit on him earlier, but, you know, on the contrary, I mean, that was just for that specific reason, but he is a legend. You know, hell, there's not even a Triple H.
No.
Like,
things really didn't start picking up again until, 2013?
Yes, and you want to know why that was?
Because of the pipe bomb?
Because of CM fucking Punk. And all you Punk haters out there, hate all you want to, but he was the only goddamn thing interesting in wrestling in the past 13, 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
He was the only thing. He was the only thing that seemed real in an era where nothing seemed real.
But after that, it was a shift change. Like, started focusing more on, like, technical wrestling, like, better wrestlers, hiring. Like, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan.
But that only lasted for a little bit. Because at the end of the day, the horrible writing, the horrible storyline trumps any good wrestling. I don't care if you have Daniel Bryan. If you put him in a shitty storyline, it's going to be shitty to watch.
That's true.
And, you know, that's unfortunate that they do that to these people. Yeah. It's unfortunate that they have developed this way of almost punishing people who have gotten over on their own. It's almost like, oh, thank you for making me money. Here's your punishment.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, that is the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And this all leads up to why WWE is so fucking horrible now. It all leads up to what, like, nobody has a gimmick. Like, nobody has a gimmick.
No.
Or how about this? There's some people that have a gimmick. Is it interesting?
You got Elias. He's a singer.
Yeah, but they also pushed Elias. Elias got over. They turned him babyface. Then they took him off of fucking screen for like a year, brought him back.
This is Ezekiel.
Yeah. So here's a guy.
He's crazy.
Here's a guy that was on fire, that was getting over. Right? He became a babyface. At the height of him really getting over, you turn him back a heel. Then you take him off of television for 6 months. Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. Well, just like Fandango.
Yeah, I was just about to bring him up.
They were singing his fucking theme music.
Yeah, doing the dance and everything.
You asked Chris Jericho to put him over at WrestleMania, and he did. And you did jack all with him.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball on him. He was like on his way to being, I'm not going to say the next big name, but a Randy Orton name caliber.
He was on his way of becoming somebody that you can put in a position if you need him in that position.
Right.
Instead, he was a curtain jerker on Main Event.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what they did to fucking who's another guy that they Zack Ryder. Here's a guy that's been over with the crowd for years and years and years. You know what they do? They let him win the Money in the Bank match, or excuse me, it was like the Intercontinental Ladder match, and then they took the fucking belt away from him the very next night. Every time that this guy has had momentum behind him, remember when he was like, him and Eve Torres was a thing, and then she turned on him, and he was going to get his revenge on this evil bitch, and it was at WrestleMania, and she kicked him in the balls, and he fell on the floor, and that was the end of the storyline.
Yeah.
Or how about when he was in the wheelchair after Kane tombstoned him, and you thought, oh, well, this is definitely he's going to come back with the vengeance attitude and beat the shit. No, Kane took him in a wheelchair, threw him off the stage. Yeah. And here was a guy that was, and they were playing it off on television like, oh, the only reason why people care about him is because he's friends with John Cena.
God. I mean,
but anyway,
you can see they've done the same thing with Dolph Ziggler.
Anyway, this has gotten way off topic, but it really hasn't, because the moment that they brought WCW and the moment that ECW was bought, that in a short period of time, 2 to 3 years, wrestling went down and down and down and down and down. And there's no denying that. There was some highlights in between. You know, Eddie and Benoit winning the championships. That was cool. The CM Punk moments and stuff like that. You know, Shield and the Wyatt family going at it. That was good. There's some good stuff. You know, the Cody and Goldust winning the tag belts.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good stuff, but it wasn't, put it in the Attitude Era. You could have a shit show, but you have Steve Austin in the Main Event and it drew record numbers.
Yeah.
You can have every single decent match on like today's show, and it'd be like, oh, well, that's okay, you know. It's not bad, but it's not memorable. You don't talk about it the next day or the next week or whatever.
Now you pretty much forget about it as soon as you watch it.
Yeah. And,
I tend to.
You know, and this sale leads to all this, because I seriously think that if WCW wouldn't have went out of business and they wouldn't have, the on-screen product wouldn't have been shit, then, you know, we would have had a longer run of good wrestling on television.
Yeah. Could be going still to this day.
Yeah, because what's happening today ain't it. I'm sorry. AEW is about as poor as a goddamn company I've watched than watching TNA in when it switched to Impact in like 2015.
My thing with AEW is that it has all the potential, and they don't do anything with it. They fuck it up, like, tremendously. Like, they're quick to, like, not drag out a storyline. Like, they want to give you immediate, like, satisfaction. Like, you start a storyline, and then the next week, you're done with the storyline. It's no...
Or it just stops.
Or it just stops in general.
Or two guys will go at it that had a match 3 months ago, and we're supposed to still be into that storyline.
Yeah. And it's no mention or no build-up or nothing. But the thing is they do have talented wrestlers on their roster.
Yeah, but the thing about it is those wrestlers are directs. They don't have any direction.
That's because Tony Khan don't know how to fucking direct them. He does direct them. He's a rectum. Anyway,
He
he doesn't know what he's fucking doing. Like, he's just going off of what, like, he's watched and everything like that.
He
He needs a William Regal or a Arn Anderson or somebody to be like, hey, this doesn't make sense. Scrap this. Let's do this. Hey, this needs to continue. Let's not, shoot it in the ass a week later.
right.
Like, he needs somebody to help him with direction. Like, I hate to, like, put Triple H in a spotlight, but Triple H in AEW, I feel like would be amazing.
Yeah, because look, he's already proven what he can do with NXT. Because the moment that he was not in charge of NXT,
Went
that
to
product,
shit.
NXT fucking sucks now.
Yeah, it is the worst product on television.
And I don't give a fuck that they have Shawn Michaels behind it. He was a
No.
great performer. It doesn't mean he's great at what he does now.
Right.
It's a bunch of goofy, forgettable shit.
Yeah.
It used to be a product that stood out, and the reason why it stood out is because it was less. It was more wrestling oriented. It was, okay, let's get a storyline across. We don't have to go overboard with this.
Right.
And it end in a good match. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah. A blow-off match.
Right. Now it's fucking Vince Russo. It's, let's overbook this to the fucking 10th degree.
Yeah, and come up with ridiculous concepts.
Yeah.
And
It's
they
like,
just,
oh,
they fuck NXT.
yeah, it's not even watchable. And now, we're talking about this sale of WCW that was back in 2001, which was fucking 23 years ago?
22.
22 years ago?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. 21. You said 2001 to 23, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, 20,
What's 23 minus 1?
2001 to 2021 is 20 years.
Yeah.
Plus 22 is 21 years.
And 23 is 22 years. That's what I
22
said.
years. No, I think I said that.
No, you're such a
Well,
dumb...
fucking plate of tape back. Anyway.
Anyway, you fucking cop... Fuck it!
But anyway, yeah.
Getting back to the sale of WWE
Yeah,
in 2023.
I'll let you explain this. Apparently some Arabian cocksucking motherfucking sand wants to buy it. So...
Can't say that. Yeah, so apparently this...
Sand Nimrods.
This Saudi Arabia company wants to buy... It's the same ones...
Oh my God, we have to fire Sammy.
That's funny. I'll get to him in a moment. Anyway, they...
And women.
I get to that too in a moment. So these are the same guys that they've been working with and, investing their blood money into WWE. So, of course, they initially want to buy it. And these are the same guys that, when they started negotiation, wanted Andre the Giant and the Ultimate Warrior in the Royal Rumble after they've been dead.
Yeah.
Because they know that much about fucking wrestling. Anyway, so the only good thing that would come out of this sale is that WWE would no longer be a publicly traded company anymore.
Yeah, it'd be private again.
It'd be private again. Now, I don't know if NBC or somebody else, Disney, buys it, if that means that, it's still not a public traded company anymore. But I assume that, if somebody else buys everything, then it's a privately owned business again. Anyway, Stephanie McMahon's already said, fuck this shit, I'm out. So,
Of course she did. She's a woman.
well, it's not 100% confirmed that
got to have women running our shit.
we aren't 100% sure that it's sold. It's just leaning that way. But it's odd that Stephanie would be like, fuck this, I'm out today. That is confirmed. She's no longer involved in the WWE. So that would lead me to think that this Saudi deal is more set in stone than what
they're leading on.
Yeah, what they're leading on.
And apparently there's a lot of talent that wants out.
Well, the thing is, it's funny, the reason why you never see Sammy on any of those shows is they won't allow him to wrestle over there because of his religious views.
Yeah.
So it's just going to get more stricter and stricter.
Yep.
The women's wrestling, you might as well throw that shit out the window.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal is pretty much going to be the longest reigning WWE champion in history.
Maybe.
Ain't no fucking maybe.
Oh
my God, he's such a god. He's so good.
Motherfucker was probably born in California.
Actually, he was born in America.
I know he was.
But they don't know that. These motherfuckers think that fucking Andre the Giant was still alive.
And Yokozuna.
And Yokozuna.
The Yokozuna!
Banzai! Banzai!
Yep.
We want to see the Banzai.
Give me Banzai, you mother bitch.
You mother bitch. Yeah, so...
I wonder if this is going to get us kicked off by...
Oh, yeah, we're probably going to get banned. Somebody woke's going to be like, you can't say that. That's inappropriate and racist.
Yeah, well, I hope you get Indian fucking toe hair in your food.
I hope you get curry and get the shits and shit yourself in Target.
I hope you shit yourself in a fucking place that don't have a toilet, or you got to get a key like Dollar General.
Oh my God! I just shit myself. Anyway, to get back to the sale, I don't think it's going to be good if the Saudis buy it.
I don't either. I think, a lot of people say, well, they have a buy-in or interest to other groups, and they haven't messed with them. But I'm like, you can best guarantee there's going to be a lot of shows, even more than it is over in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And it's going to be justified because there's a lot of people over there that wants to see wrestling and are willing to pay because, they don't know the deal because their government doesn't allow them to have full internet services to find out that wrestling ain't really real.
What? What do you mean? This son of a bitch really beat the shit out of Roman Reigns?
Fuck you, Roman Reigns, number one.
Yeah, this deal is not going to be good if the Saudis buy it. They're not going to know what.
We're not making fun of these people. We're educating people on their language.
So fuck you. Get the fuck out of it. No, I can't. I own it.
Oh, no, I cannot get the fuck out. I own the building. Now I own the wrestling.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's good for AEW.
Well, they have a chance to, I don't know. Not really. Tony Khan's a fucking moron. He's a goddamn mark, and he listens. How can you book a show listening to the guys that are booked on the show?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but my point was that he's going to get a lot more talent.
Yeah,
household
but
names.
he can't do anything with the talent he has. The talent that he's purchased. How the fuck do you have guys like Rusev and stuff like that, and you can't find TV time for them? But you can find TV time for, insert name. Riho. She's the best. She's just the goddamn best.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that get more TV time than they should ever. What is that shitty group called?
I don't know any group.
Best Friends. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Best Friends, that's Chucklefuck Taylor and what's his name?
I hope our friends listen to this and get really mad.
Uh,
I say fuck you too, buddy.
Chucklefuck, what's his name? He was in fucking Miami,
Chuck Taylor and who?
he was in
Trent Beretta.
Trent Beretta. Yeah, there's that tag team.
Or
Yeah.
Trent.
Trent, yeah.
Go, Trent, go. Get a fucking last name, would you?
Then you have the Dork Order. All those guys.
Who's led by a fucking child because his father passed away, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not good. They have cut some fat,
And
Jelly Janetta.
let's not forget that one of their big ones, Kenny Omega, right?
Your favorite.
Oh, the Omega. He loves AEW so much that the best match he had in the past 5 years was in Japan for another goddamn company.
Yeah, he actually really tried in that wrestling match.
Yeah, he had to because he knew that he can't fucking be as athletic as old Jumpin' Bean fucking Osprey.
Yeah, but you done something right when Jim Cornette gives you a pat on the back.
Yeah, well,
and he hates both of them.
Kenny's older. Kenny knows that his best bet is just to fucking knee people in the face for real.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing a more technical style.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen highlights of it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate both guys. Sue me. I don't give a shit. But for what I saw, it was okay. It wasn't as over the top as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It was decent, but the thing about it is he goes over there and he has a match like that, and every match that he's had since he's been back in AEW has completely fucking blowed ass.
Yeah.
So that's how much respect he has for another fucking company than he has for AEW. That right there, if I was Tony Khan and I saw him have that good of a match over in Japan, that right there, I would immediately tell CM Punk to come back. Just to piss him the fuck off.
Yeah, I really feel like this whole CM Punk situation is just... I don't think it's CM Punk, honestly.
I mean, dude, CM Punk was not in the wrong. I don't give a fuck who knows it. I don't give a fuck who thinks it. He was not in the wrong. He called out who needed to be called out. He fucking called out who needed to be called out. Okay? Now, what's worse? Bad-mouthing people to their face publicly, or bad-mouthing people behind their backs secretly?
I mean, it takes a lot of balls to do it in front of everybody.
Exactly. CM Punk done it in front of the fucking world. Everybody, all the other people that had problems, done it in little alleyways jerking off each other. I hate Punk. I hate Punk too.
Yeah. AEW needs Punk.
And it goes to the point, selfish, ignorant, unenlightening fucking dumbasses. We're talking about people who has never drew money so they don't care about drawing money. Because they don't know how to draw money, because they never drew money.
I mean, that's
Versus somebody who has drew money. Somebody who has started a revolution. Somebody who has taken old heads that said, fuck this wrestling shit. They seen a clip of what CM Punk's doing and go, I might get back into this. Any of those other fuckers ever done that? Nope.
They helped start AEW.
Yeah. They didn't help shit. Tony Khan's daddy's money started AEW.
I mean, yeah, but they had to find the investor and sell somebody on the idea.
Yeah. Tony Khan.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this publicly traded Saudi deal is not going to be good.
Nope.
If Tony Khan can get somebody to book AEW, AEW would be the number one wrestling program, because honestly, WWE, if they sell to Saudi, a lot of people are going to turn on WWE.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that refuse to watch those Saudi Arabia shows anyway.
Right. And
first of all, the crowd is fucking rotten.
Yeah. They're terrible.
Like, they set up this shit and they want this shit, and then the guys come out and I don't even think they know who the fuck they are anyway.
No.
So.
Yeah, like, I know I'm not going to watch WWE ever again if they sell to Saudi.
Nope.
And
I don't mind, like, watching the old stuff, but, you know. And think about this, if they do sell, is the network still going to be on Peacock?
I don't know. Peacock might kick them off because they might not want to do business with Saudi.
Peacock is NBC Universal.
Yeah.
And that's one of the people that want to buy it.
Yeah, I think NBC is the best alternative, because they're just going to buy it and let Triple H and them run it. Now, Saudi, they're going to buy it and stick their greasy fucking oil fingers in it.
Yeah.
And try to change it to their liking and what they want. Hell, fucking, they might try to give somebody a fucking Ultimate Warrior gimmick and shit.
God.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that it wouldn't be below them to take old gimmicks that they would own and give it to somebody else and be like, here's the new Ultimate Warrior, and here comes fucking this Saudi guy down to, oh, the powers of the universe.
Oh my God.
Oh, this car is so goddamn hot. It powers the spaceship that goes in my ass.
Introducing the Suntan Superman.
The Suntan Superman. It's Saudi Hulk Hogan. I'm coming for you, brother.
It's gotta be Cayenne.
It's Old Dust.
Cayenne Velasquez.
Cayenne Velasquez. God.
Yeah, but, yeah, this was an all over the place episode.
It's
probably not very good either.
I don't give a fuck. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and just giving thoughts, just our thoughts.
Yeah, this Saudi deal is going to fucking ruin WWE.
Everything that we just said was an opinion. So,
you
know, if you take it too hard, you know, it's not a dick. So,
fuck it!
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for listening to our opinions. Quit fucking rubbing the goddamn mic.
My nose itches.
Scratch it, you son of a bitch. They're going to hear this fucking rubbing noise the whole goddamn... Fucking hate you. I have to live with this guy. Grr. Grr. right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm James. Thank you for listening to this Strong Style Podcast episode.
I'm Todd. Don't fuck goats.